we decided to take the bikes in for a service. Unfortunately, didn't think about the mics because we just got a phone with us today, but we thought, why not? Let's make a bit of a video. Basically, the bike shop is in town, so we've dropped the bikes off. They've gone in for a service, won't get them back till Monday. So we're on foot. So we're going to do a short walking tour of Leicester, stopping at James's Cafe Bistro for breakfast. Oh, look at all that goose cheese. Let's get this walking tour underway. From James's Cafe Bistro, we turned right, then took a left past the Social Climbing Centre and headed towards High Cross Shopping Centre. Although it was still early, we passed an Eid food market setting up for the day, with stalls selling cakes, bubble tea, fried chicken, ice cream and plenty more. The tour isn't about big tourist attractions, just a few of the places we like to visit when we're in the city. First stop was the Korean supermarket, where I needed to pick up a few supplies for dinner. On the menu tonight was chanko nabe, better known as sumo stew, a hearty hot pot traditionally eaten by sumo wrestlers. The first place we stumbled across was the Free Grammar School, one of the oldest surviving schoolhouses in the UK. Back in its day, students would spend their time studying Greek and Latin, and at its peak, the school taught around 130 boys. They attended 6 days a week too. Imagine that, 6 days of Latin lessons. Next up was Jubilee Square, a large open space right in the heart of the city. These days, when the sun's out, it's packed with people relaxing, meeting friends and soaking up the atmosphere. But back in medieval Leicester, this was the bustling centre of city life, with markets held here every Wednesday and Friday. So why people now come here for a coffee and a chat? Centuries ago, they were haggling over livestock and vegetables. Jubilee Square is also home to BBC Radio Leicester, the very first local BBC radio station to launch in England, going on air in 1967. Today it broadcasts news, sport and stories from across the county. It's quite fitting really, this area has been a place where people have gathered to share news and information for centuries, from medieval markets to modern day radio. A weekly visit to the Korean supermarket is pretty much a must for me. They've got a fantastic fresh vegetable section, which was exactly what I needed for today's cook. Into the basket went some choy sum, napa cabbage, medium fern tofu and a tub of miso paste. Just a few simple ingredients, but they were all destined for tonight's chanko nabe, a hearty Japanese sumo stew. We then made our way down to Leicester Cathedral, the final resting place of King Richard III. His remains were discovered just a short distance from here beneath a city centre car park in 2012, before being reinterred inside the cathedral in 2015. Now, compared to some of the enormous cathedrals you find around the UK, Leicester Cathedral is actually quite modest in size, but what it lacks in scale, it more than makes up for in character, history and atmosphere. It's a beautiful building, and there's something quite special about the fact that a place of worship has stood on or near this site for well over 1,000 years. Interestingly, there was once some debate over which church should become Leicester's cathedral when the Diocese of Leicester was re-established in 1927. St Martin's Church was chosen over other historic churches in the city, including St Mary de Castro, the stunning medieval church located within the grounds of Leicester Castle. And that raises an interesting question. What actually makes a cathedral a cathedral? Most people think it's about size, when it's not. A cathedral is simply the church that contains the bishop's official seat, known as a cathedra. So technically, a cathedral can be large or small. It's the bishop's presence that gives its cathedral status, not the building itself. Standing here, surrounded by centuries of history, it's easy to see why this became Leicester's cathedral. From its Norman beginning to becoming the resting place of a king, this small but remarkable building has played a huge role in the story of the city. Right next door is Leicester Guildhall, one of the oldest timber frame buildings in the city. Built in the 1300s, it was the centre of local government, hosting everything from council meetings and court cases to feasts and celebrations. Today it's a museum giving visitors a glimpse into more than 6 centuries of Leicester's history, and if the walls could talk, they'd have quite a few stories to tell. Just across the road from the Guildhall stands St Nicholas Church, believed to be the oldest surviving church in Leicester. Parts of the building date back over 900 years, and what makes it particularly fascinating is its connection to Roman Leicester. If you look closely, you can still see Roman bricks and stones incorporated into the church walls, recycled from nearby Roman buildings. It's a remarkable place where nearly 2,000 years of Leicester's history seems to come together in one spot. Right next door to St Nicholas Church is Jewry Wall Museum and the impressive remains of the Jewry Wall itself, one of the largest surviving pieces of Roman masonry in Britain. Built almost 2,000 years ago, this area was once part of the public baths of Roman Leicester. The Romans were deeply religious, worshipping many gods and goddesses who they believed influenced every part of life. Today the museum helps bring their world back to life, offering a fascinating glimpse into Roman Leicester and the people who once lived here. Leaving the Roman quarter behind, we headed onto the canal for the quickest route home. Along the way we passed this striking circular sculpture, a modern landmark that feels quite fitting in a city where every turn seems to reveal another layer of history. Just beyond it stands Friars Mill, one of Leicester's last surviving textile mills. Built in the 1800s, it was once part of a vast industry that helped put Leicester on the map, producing yarn and fabrics that were shipped across the country and beyond. Today, the beautifully restored building offers a glimpse into the city's industrial past. The canal itself played a huge role in Leicester's development. Opened in the late 18th century, it transformed the way goods moved around the city before railways and roads took over. Narrowboats carried coal, timber, textiles and raw materials directly into Leicester, helping local businesses grow and prosper. What is now a peaceful waterside walk was once a busy industrial artery, filled with working boats, dock workers and warehouses. It's hard to imagine today, but without the canal, Leicester might never have become the thriving city it is now. Nearly home, we cut across the old railway line known as the Raleigh. Built in 1832, this route was part of Leicester's growing railway network and helped connect the city to the rest of the country during the Industrial Revolution. Trains ran along here for 150 years before the line finally closed in 1982. Today it's hard to imagine steam engines passing through, but this quiet pathway once played a vital role in moving people, goods and industry across the region. As we turned onto Tudor Road, we were very nearly home. Like many parts of Leicester, it's a street that's seen better days. What was once a proud and attractive neighbourhood could certainly do with a little TLC, not just from the council, but from those of us who call it home. Rubbish now litters parts of the street, including a rather oddly lone divan. But then again, you'll find streets like this in cities all over the country. Despite its flaws, Leicester is where I was born and bred. It's a city full of history, character and memories, and no matter how much it changes, it'll always be home.